all screwed up.
Hello.
Oof. Hey.
Hi, my Wi-Fi is really bad.
Poor thing. Yeah, it's getting a little screwed up. One thing I'm gonna ask you, can you hear me? Shake it from body under. Oh, what now? But it takes so long to see the light. Ratusha, can you hear me? Ooh, I don't like this one. Crap.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes,
Hi, guys. Let's unenable this waiting room. Hey, show you're here with a wave. I mean, I see that you're here. I want to see you guys. Hi. Woo, Saqib, always like you're an hour earlier than usual, and sorry for that, but love that you're so attentive. Great.
Hi.
Hi. Naina, what's going on? It's amazing how much I like to see an emoji clap. It just like ends up making me feel a little bit better. Like I said, would love to see anybody if anybody's willing. Like what kind of energy is that I've seen from like watching stakeholder videos this week was just like, I think some of your videos I've played like 4 times plus for myself or others. Because it was just like, wow.
Why is it early again? Can you just tell me?
Yeah, I'll explain, Taki, because so basically daylight savings time means that this happens in the US and Europe. Basically, we jump like an hour, like the clocks switch so that it's kind of weird and but like in the summers, I don't know, I'm giving too much explanation, but like in the winters, it gets dark at like 4 or 5 p.m. In the summers, it gets dark at like 9 p.m. because of the way that the earth is rotating. But anyways, the clocks jump twice a year. Like we lose an hour of sleep and everything is an hour.
Okay.
Yeah. But it doesn't happen in India or like many other countries. So that's why everybody's like, some people, the time changed. Some people, the time didn't change.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we're just going to be sticking to like the European time zone. Hey, so weird. I know. We don't believe me. The SOF mentors in the team have been like kind of like calculate and make sure everything is like right for the time zones. Because the United States, we switched back like 3 weeks ago. So anyways, don't worry about it now. Right. Let's start. I know we're missing quite a few people. Today is really about building your stakeholders' ultimate experience. You want to help them learn things, but also you want to be able to test out your business on them. So we're going to give like a crazy amount of ideas today. And all of you are going to be creating something like this that has a crazy amount of ideas that you can try with your stakeholders. You want to stay as aligned as possible to your outcomes, to what you want to achieve as a company. We're going to go over like all the important things from this entire experience and how to try it out with your stakeholders. But before we begin, want to start with something that gets everybody just thinking about Expo, thinking about projects, thinking about that kind of stuff. Can you guys get into the WhatsApp Ember chat? If everybody can get there, we're going to have a couple questions. And if you guys can text teammates or like people that you know that are missing right now. Ratuja doesn't have us like a WhatsApp at the moment and bad internet. So anyways, here we are. Say I if you can. Great that Cedra is typing. Great. Okay. First thing I'm going to ask, just the big general question, and you can answer it with words or with GIFs, however you feel right now. How are you feeling for the expo? It's a big question, but there's probably a lot of things, a lot of excitement, a lot of like, whoa, it feels like a lifetime away. Really looking forward to seeing these answers.
So unexpected. Like, I didn't even know it was ending so quickly.
Ah. Nervous and exciting. Is it happening? Yay, Ananya. Okay, it's many emotions. Cool. Just always like feeling very cool. Yeah. And I don't like, honestly, guys, don't make me sad about like end. I've like loved this group so much. I don't know if you guys realize like how much, because you guys are so involved with each other and every session like this, I feel like I'm always making it better for your group in particular because like you guys just go above and beyond. So anyways, your group's awesome and your experience doesn't really necessarily like end. Like you, as alums, you can be as involved as you want in other people's projects. You keep adding to your project. Ideally at the expo, you get a lot of students to sign up for what you've created. And so things can really elevate from there. I've seen some SOF winners especially get a lot of traction. Great. Okay, next question was, how was it to make your video? What inspired your video?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. What inspired your video? Like, how was it to make the video? What ended up happening? Oh, just seeing if people. Great. No, Gabby, it was really jam-packed with like information. Everything that you've thought through was pretty clear in that video. Georgia, yours was also like elevating for me to watch. It's good. Really good. Okay. Next question is, what is the one thing you want your stakeholders to learn about you? What do you want them to know about you? Last question. Let's see here.
Question, I couldn't hear you.
Sorry, Sakib. What do you want your stakeholders to know about you? Chandra says his corporate stance and values. Naina, knowing about my business, helping me reach out. Oh, you don't want them to hesitate. You want them to realize that they are like a huge important person. Anybody want to share out? Like, I feel like I want to hear some voices. And yay, great, you guys. All right, keeping all this in mind, you're gonna want to convey this to them. And we're gonna go over like everything that you want your stakeholders to experience and feel. Great. I like to call this the curtains opening. You have got through and prepared so much, and we're going to prepare a lot today, and then you will open the curtains. And at that point, you have to think on your feet. You are in charge of not so much entertaining these stakeholders, but you want to show them the experience that you want to show them. And you want to make sure that they're getting something out of it as well. Whatever it is that you want people to like feel in your business, you want them to feel that way. You want to see if they actually do feel that way and learn from their experience. 2 main purposes. Can I have a volunteer to read these out for us? These are the 2 overall purposes of having stakeholders.
I'm sure I can do it.
Gabby.
Testing out the product, so letting stakeholders try out the product to help you develop it, and big decisions, consulting with them as you make decisions.
Perfect. Right. Like the first one, you don't even want to necessarily like, people will give 2 kind of feedback. You want them to actually experience pieces of your product. And if it works, great. Parts will not work, right? And you have to be the one to take note. Okay, this is not working. How can I make this smoother for people? How can I make this more enjoyable or engaging for people? You will be really observant in that sense. And then the second, big decisions, you want to make them feel important. The biggest thing that I've seen work is you want them to feel like they're part of your entourage, they're part of your family, they're part of the inside, they're an insider. You want to consult with them on big decisions, know what kinds of decisions you want to like ask them about and make them feel important. So some of this engagement will happen like over the phone or like online in Zoom calls. We'll talk about all of that. Some of it will involve them going out in the real world and trying things. That's a huge way to test your product idea. Little easy wins, right? Asking them to go out and, you know, what's the last piece of clothing you purchased for someone like Leonie? For Gabby, what's the last something about something they just ate? Anything that's happening in their real life is pretty relevant to your business idea. Okay. This is not verbatim, like not everybody's 10-day engagement will look like this, but I'm just going to talk about it for a really brief second because it's super important that you want all 10 days to be remarkably relevant to one another. I really don't want a student to you guys don't just want to ask them random things. Whatever you ask them on the first day about themselves, getting them to open up, have it relate and tie into some bigger theme within your business. Have it relate to something towards the end and they can have an aha moment. You keep track of these interesting things that they're saying about themselves and you do something big with it relating to your company. Like for example, you want them to bond with each other. You might have them share something personal. You might have them share about like the last time they struggled to communicate with a family member. You might ask them to share about the last time that they wanted to recycle, but they couldn't. you can weave that into the narrative of your business idea. You can make that into some kind of competition. Whatever you do at the beginning, make sure it relates to the end. That's like my absolute biggest advice. You want them to make self-realizations. You want to pique their interest. You want to acknowledge them throughout the 10 days. And again, we'll give a lot of examples as to what kinds of activities you can do with them, but always keep in mind, how is this related to my business? How is this going to actually help them learn something about themselves over the course of 10 days? How is this going to build into something bigger? I'm going to send this PowerPoint to you guys as well, but I want to get you started. Take a piece of paper, and everybody, I'll give you a minute to get like a paper, but you're going to draw a shape like this one. I wish I had a thick marker. Maybe I'll go grab one. I'll give you guys 1 minute to get a piece of paper. Right, kind of an odd and crazy shape, but this is, everybody give a thumbs up or some sign of life when you have what you're supposed to have. This is how it would look on your page. Glad Georgia and Gabby have it. And different things will happen in different parts of the boxes here. Cool. Speak up if you need us to wait another minute. Okay, what's going to happen at this top corner? Hope like everybody can see this part. There we go. In this top corner.
Can you just go back to the previous slide just a second?
Sure. Yeah, it's the same shape basically.
I just did like what you are doing exactly.
So we're writing out, like, this is what should be on your page right now. Something that looks like this. And we're going to, each of these little areas is going to be filled with something. We're going to go through it step by step. So we haven't even really started yet. So just draw this on your page.
Okay.
Okay. In the first upper corner, think back to when we did customer retention about 3 weeks ago. You guys came up with so many different ways that you would keep people engaged. Customer retention is all about making them want to come back, make them want to feel like they're accomplishing something and they want to keep returning to your product. And we have 3 major categories. I would love if anybody remember these 3 categories, or at least one of these categories. There are 3 categories in which we try to keep customers coming back. Customer retention. Can anybody remember one of those areas?
I think one of them was value through
value propositions. It's kind of similar, Saqib. You're actually thinking of what people want out of the product. That's part of the business model canvas, actually. Those are the different reasons.
Hello?
I heard somebody else.
Yeah, so I remember it was communication, acknowledgement, and I don't know, interaction or something. I don't remember.
Yeah. Acknowledgement is a huge one. You want them to feel like whatever they're doing, you're hearing them and they're getting next steps based on whatever they're saying. People really want that. And that also goes with customization. People want to know that they're getting the thing that they particularly need and everything about them is being like heard. These are the big 3 areas. Community is the first one though. Like you said, communication, very similar. You want your stakeholders to feel like they're actually a part of a family and they can see who else is there. They can like learn from each other. Like whenever you're using a product in an app, you often like, you know, you see other customers, you see other users, you get to learn a bit about them. So just to remind you guys, and again, write down in this space all the different ways that you had in mind to retain customers, different things that you wanted to do to keep customers coming back. Sometimes it's like a bit of like competition. Sometimes they comment on each other. Sometimes, you know, you follow other people on apps and on platforms. Sometimes you just check out their profile page. I'll give you guys a minute. Try to remember back everything that you had said 3 weeks ago that you wanted to do for customer retention. How will they know about each other? What will they see about each other? Be as exact as you want. What's related to your business? What do you want your stakeholders to learn about each other and see? How will they check in on each other? Next area is the acknowledgement. Everything they do, they should feel like you notice it. They should feel like they are like taking a step like closer to whatever they want to accomplish. It should feel like they're getting some kind of like privileges, or they're sometimes unlocking some new area. It's progressing. It's like adding each day. All right, I'm going to move to the next one. This is the last of the big three. The customization kind of goes hand in hand with the last two in some ways, but it is a separate area. Like, do think about how are you going to customize their journey? Like, whatever they want to accomplish with you, how are you going to provide them those customized next steps? Often includes like habits, or just think about when you use any product, you often like answer, you know, whatever you like on that website, they provide you more of that. Anything goes. Try to keep in mind what you had said 3 weeks ago. If there's new things, that's even better. What are you going to do when you find out their interests? How are you going to customize their journey? I feel like I'm talking too much and you guys don't have time to write, but it's like the best opportunity when you know these people like really well. You can learn what's the best way to customize it, and then you'll be able to customize it for other customers in a more like scalable way. Right, for one more second, you guys. And I was not looking at the chat, so I'll have to. Okay. And so I'm seeing a couple people are like arriving. So we're gonna like just recap really quickly. And maybe I would love a couple people to share out anything that they like wrote. Let me share my screen again. Okay. To recap, today is the day that our main focus is to make the stakeholder experience as glorious as possible. Let me share this. You have ideally 10 days with your stakeholders. You obviously want to learn a lot for what works for your company, but you want to make your stakeholders learn a lot about themselves. Whatever you want customers in the future to learn about and accomplish with your company, you want your stakeholders to accomplish that. And my biggest advice is whatever happens in like the first or second days, make it relevant to what happens in the last days. It needs to link. There needs to be a theme. It needs to be part of your business's like full like goals and outcome.
Hello, I managed to enter bit late, but I managed to.
I know, Remo, hi. So I just wanted you guys to know that we're going to be kind of creating the 10 days of engagement with your stakeholders. Different things you can do to get them to like learn about themselves and also like bond with each other and make it linked to like the biggest, what is it that you want your customers to achieve and how do you make your stakeholders achieve that in 10 days? So this is, some people's map will look like this and there's no set in stone method. We're going to go over a lot of different activities that can possibly be a part of this. But like I said, you want your stakeholders to like bond with each other. Often I suggest asking them to share something like kind of personal in the first couple of days. And that thing that they share should be related to your business. And you can come back to it later in the 10 days.
So like we have to create sort of like a presentation.
You know, Remo, in a way, like I will say this, everybody will be doing at least one live session with their stakeholders, like one, like everybody's on a Zoom call together. Whether you want to do that on day 10, day 5, day 1 is up to you. But I really recommend you want to make the whole 10 days, like you want to lay out the full 10 days with your stakeholders. And and it should all link together. It should not just be randomness. It should be really, really things that you're asking them relates to whatever they say in this, like on day 1 or day 2, weave that into your like presentation, weave that into the activities that you do in the Zoom call.
Okay.
And I know you have attended a few A's. So you, and she was obviously like the winner of the last cohort. So just keep in mind that's what the live session is really like. Yours can be however you want it, whatever is relevant to your like product.
Hey, Kelsey.
Hey, Ahmed.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, what is
Sure.
my main objective with my stakeholders? Like, what do I want to leave them with and what do I want to gain from it? I know me gaining, the knowledge on how to like, run my business from them, but what should I be giving them?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think a lot of times we emphasize, you are trying to learn about your business. That's their guinea pigs in some way. But at the same time, in order for you to test out your product, you really have to you want them to learn something. You want them to learn about themselves. And we're going to go over the outcomes in a second. That's the next piece. But think of it this way. Whatever you want human beings to learn within your like whatever your product's purpose is, you're clearly like helping people get something done. You're helping society. You're helping your customers. You want your stakeholders to achieve that in these 10 days. You want them to learn something big about themselves. You want them to be able to gain confidence. You want them to learn how to communicate. Whatever your product and company's vision is, you want your stakeholders to achieve that in 10 days.
Okay, so it's like a somewhat of like a trial, a time trial, like a free 10-day trial of what I'm providing for them and to see if it's successful or not.
Exactly. You can think of it as a 10-day like trial. Yes.
So like for me, it's like I should be able to after those 10 days, they should like have confidence in art, not like saying I'm not good, I'm not that. Like you have to draw the feeling, like you have to show your emotions through art.
Beautiful.
That's like my goal. I have to like show them to like have confidence and just do what you feel. You have imagination of anything, do it. Art is not about how good you are, how bad you are. It's what you're drawing. It's what you wanna do. That's my goal in those
Great.
10 days.
Junior, thank you for sharing that. Thanks for telling us what you want them to feel, what you want them to accomplish. Does anybody else, like that was actually what we're going to get to next, you guys, but I really want you guys to share more. This is good.
Like they should be able to be like recognized, like to know that we have people actually know we are doing art. Like I want them to actually help also the community to show the importance of art, because the more they start realizing that art is not about what you do, but it's about what you're putting on the paper, the more the world knows art is easy and it's like important.
It's a lot of good outcomes. I hope you're writing these down, Junior. Like you want them to know art is easy.
Yeah.
You want them to know that it's bigger than just what you're putting on the paper. You want them to gain confidence in their own art. Please write all these down. This is why we lay this out for ourselves so that we don't lose sight of what we want them to accomplish. Because it's easy to lose sight and just try to make something fun, but really, really important. We're going to go into the outcomes like right here. Outcomes for customers. And your outcomes for your customers are a bit different, obviously, than your outcomes for stakeholders, right? Because stakeholders are a unique experience. So let's start with the outcomes for customers. In your dream product,
So like for my customers, I want them to be like, they must come out with an answer that like now we are fully recognized.
Yes.
Our art is like now making an impact in the world. It's not like I've done an art and I just sell it. The person who has bought it doesn't even know what it means. There is anybody, he just bought it. It's like
Okay.
I want my customers to feel happy, like to know that art is not just drawing, but art is what you're doing, whether you're impressing your feelings, your emotions, how you are, your lifestyle. And the buyer must also know like the reason he's buying this. It's sort of like he or he is having a connection with the art and the artist himself. They must have a connection when he's buying like the art. It's an example like music. People listen to music according to how they are feeling, according to their emotions. If I'm depressed, I have to go and listen. Usually, people who are depressed or have anxiety, they listen to depression songs, sad songs. But if I'm happy, I listen to happy songs that make me dance. So that's the feeling they must also have in art.
This is great. You have a lot that you want to cover, and make sure that every detail is there. And when in doubt, refer to whatever's on your page. When in doubt, when creating activities, refer back to the actual outcomes. So I'm just going to ask two quick questions for everybody so you can like get a gist. The first one is, what is your business solving for people? You've answered this so many times, but you get stronger in this answer every time. So please write that down. Right, now you are here. in this top zone, outcomes for customers. What do you want them? What are you solving for them? Question number 2. How will they be equipped for the world because of your company? Premor Jr. is telling us a lot about how he wants people to feel like with their art after they utilize his company. How will people be equipped for the world because of your company? So we've just filled in the outcomes for actual customers. Moving to this space is where we're going to do outcomes for these stakeholders. This is going to be happening like in the upcoming week. So it's obviously much more like actionable.
Hey, Kelsey, I'm sorry, but I need to leave. I have another class right now.
Okay, Arwa. This is obviously recorded, and I do believe we're going to do another session in like, it's about an hour and a half later from now. So just know that, and we'll message you, okay?
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks, Arwa.
So like for me,
yeah,
actually trying to solve, let's say, like showing the world the importance of art. By showing the world the importance of art, it makes the artists feel recognized, like feel happy and passionate about what they are doing. Because what I've seen is that the world doesn't actually see that art is so important. That
right.
Makes us as artists feel like doing art is a waste of time. We are just doing it, but I'm not going to get anywhere far with this. And at the end of the day, a person changes, like, now I'm no longer going to do art. I'm gonna start doing maybe architect. I'm gonna start doing science. And when he goes for what he's not liking, it's either he fails that thing and loses hope. At the end of the day, he's depressed and doing other stuff like drugs or stuff, maybe to get better. So it's like I'm trying to show the world the importance of art, how much time it takes to make a small piece for that person. That's what I want to show.
Premor, you're going to have a lot of fun then, and you might send your stakeholders out to like show the rest of the world that like the importance of it, basically. And that can come in different activities. But like I said, the way you're explaining it, please write down, because I don't want you to lose the exact statements that are in your head, like right now. We're going to do one more thing with the like right now, outcomes of stakeholders. You guys are going to write down the outcomes you want them to accomplish. So this is obviously in the bottom area here. Number 1, what do you want them to learn about themselves? What do you want the stakeholders to achieve, like learn about who they are? And so just write it down really quickly. We're going to let you guys explain with each other in a second. Make it big. What will they learn about themselves?
Kelsey, why is there a difference between the outcome for customers and the outcome for stakeholders?
Great question. Because you can think, when you think of outcomes for customers, you want to let yourself dream bigger. Like I always encourage that. Like when your product has all the tech that you ever wanted, or has like it exists in the form that you want it eventually. That's what you want to think about for outcomes for actual customers. Outcomes for stakeholders is your 10-day trial. So what can you achieve with them? What do you want these these SOFR students to accomplish with you in 10 days? What would be like what you're going to actually execute this week? So that leads me to my second question. How do you want your stakeholders to bond? What could they possibly like be vulnerable about or learn about each other, learn about themselves? How will they bond? And try to think of something related to obviously the big theme of your company.
Like I want them to like share ideas and actually help each other because at the end of the day, they're all here to talk about art. If they actually came to me, they are all going to talk about art. And if they share ideas, they might come up with, let's say, a bit of same things that can actually have impact on me, on my company, or their companies to actually make a bigger community of showing the importance of art. Like for my company also, I want to be able to get every artist all around the world to actually find a partner so that they might share ideas and just create amazing work together.
Cool. Maybe they bond over how they come up with ideas. Maybe they bond over how they struggled at a time and somebody didn't believe in them and people were like saying that art was pointless. Letting them think back to exact stories is a huge way for them to bond. And a lot of this, you guys, connects to like how you create the community, how you get them to feel acknowledged. Last question here, and then we're going to go into breakout rooms. But the last question is, how do you want them to go out and help the world during this experience in itself? Anything that you'd want them to go out and do differently for themselves, or in the moment, if they can call out like racial inequality that they see. What is it that you ideally want them to go out and do in the world? Okay, so you guys are going to be in breakout rooms for just about 4 or 5 minutes, where you can just say to each other the outcomes that you really want to accomplish. I'm sorry that it's quick, but there's a lot of activities that we're going to look at, and you guys will choose which activities link best to your outcomes. And you will be the one proctoring these activities on your stakeholders. So I'm just going to open up the rooms and let you guys like talk while you're in there. And ideally, like, it's okay if what you have on your page right now might be still like premature. It's okay. Like, just share what's there already and keep adding to it. Any concerns? I hope you're with new people. I hope you like feel comfortable just like saying wherever you're at.
Yes.
This is a really important that this like this.
Can you repeat the question? I didn't.
Yeah. This is just pretty much everything you've been writing on your page. You're going to be in a room and you're going to share, hey guys, these are my outcomes. Everybody's just kind of going to speak out loud as to what their outcomes are for their stakeholders. You can also refer back to anything that you had written here for customer attention, different things that you want to do to keep the customers engaged. It's going to be kind of short, so make sure that everybody gets a chance to say at least one thing. And I'll just be here. If anybody wants to talk to me instead, you can. Oh, cool. Chandra and Ahmed, are you guys okay to? And hey, Shahad. Chandra, are you with us?
Hi.
Hi. Welcome back, Sakib. Everybody. Oh, they're not back yet. 5 seconds and they'll be forced back here. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, guys. I'm glad that you were able to speak to each other and probably like continually add to your outcomes. Now is the part where we come up with the activities, and there's a lot of activities that like so students have just created, and I've always compiled the list. I know that you guys will come up with even more activities than are just here, but these ideas are just to get you started. Okay. So ideally, you write down as many of these activities as like you want. There we go. All right, so in the very, very last side of the paper here, the very, very last side, here's where you're gonna list down literally all the activities of things that you wanna try within day one on the group chat, within your live session with the students. But it's so important. Keep in mind everything else that's here, all the outcomes that you want them to achieve, everything you want them to learn about themselves, the different ways that you want them to bond with each other, the different ways you want to acknowledge them and get them to come back and feel like they're, each day is building upon the last. Please keep all that in mind as you decide on activities. These activities should not be random. They're all built into what your product does. So without further ado, we're going to look at this massive list, and I'm going to pass it around. Every person's going to read out one of the activities. And again, change the activity however it works for your company. That's the point. We have a ton of ideas here, but I've seen Sofers, like most of these ideas came from Sofers just making stuff that they thought would be a great way to try out their business. So I'm going to open it up. Can I have Sakib read us the first one? So this is within the group chat. This might be day 1. This might be day 5. What are you going to do within the group chat with your stakeholders? Sakib, read us the first one.
The big white question. A big white question that leads them to think about your problem or business. Why does race exist?
Awesome. Afiwe asked this in her group chat, and I generated like pretty deep conversation. So start something like that from the get-go in your group chat. And again, everything that they're saying, all the great answers that they're putting out, utilize that in your live session. People want to feel like you remembered what they said. They want to feel acknowledged. Anything that you ask should be incorporated in the 10-day journey that you're giving them. All right, can I have Georgia read the second one?
Sure. Sentence starters, pictures of their clothes, the street, the trash, a page from their books, anything related.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I actually didn't write a description for this one, but sentence starters, like you can give them anything. Like you can start the sentence and again, have it be related to your business. So for Junior, he could ask about like something with art, like any sentence starter that gets people to finish the sentence, and they all have like different experiences that they're sharing. That can again happen in the group chat. You generate a lot of information about them that helps make their experience better. Can I have Samara, the next one? Yeah.
Could you send this presentation on the group?
Yeah, I definitely will. I'll definitely will. You guys can like have this with you as you plan out your 10 days.
Okay.
All right. Art project. It's scavenger hunt. Picture of their clothes, the street, the trash, a page from their books, anything related. Draw something, go ask family members, and film it. It's basically what I have planned.
Tell us what you have. Do you have anything in mind for this?
Yeah, I have sort of like first they're supposed to like communicate, and then we're gonna end up drawing or making something, and then we're gonna sort of sell it to one of our family members, and then we're gonna use that money to go out and help someone.
I love that. It's kind of like a trial of what an artist would do, but they're trying it on their family members. That's kind of genius, actually. This might get added to the Hall of Fame and like this list here.
Yeah, for me, it's like maybe on the 5th day to say, we might actually also draw something, and instead of going to our family members, we actually have to like go outside. We are not going to sell to someone, but I want them to be able like to have confidence just going outside and just asking maybe 5 people about what they think, to actually find out what people think about art, how people feel about art. Is art important to them, or they just be like, no, I need to go, no. Like I want them to have answers, like the experience of what happened when they went outside with their art. Because you don't have to say, no, I can't go outside, my art is bad. It's what you have done, the emotion you have put in it. That's the important thing. So when you show it to somebody, someone must be able to say, this is this. So maybe the artist actually feeling sad. That's what I want to hear after that. Yeah.
Now that's kind of brilliant too. Like you can dare them to go out and do that. It's an intense one. I don't recommend that on day one. Tokozo had people like, she literally just filmed like her family members answering questions about race and things like that. So those kinds of things, always show an example. Whenever you're challenging your stakeholders to go out and do things, you have to be the one to try it first, show them an example, then it makes it like a bit easier for them. For sure. Shahad, can you read us the next one under there?
Which one was it?
The bottom one here, make profiles.
Okay. Make profiles. You send a template or make them each profiles based on the answers they write.
Great. So I've seen students do this really well, where the things that you're asking on day one and day two, you are recording what they say, and you can actually make them like a profile, like very, very easily on Canva or all these different tools. And it feels kind of good. They're like, oh, wow. Like Shahad remembered what I said. Shahad like made this profile of me and look at my progress. And they like, it feels really, you can customize the hell out of this, honestly. Like that's why you only have so many of them. You can really devour them with attention. I've seen people like Arnav. This was really, really cool. During the session itself, he had them all create their own profile like by hand, and then they sent it in. And like, that's just kind of getting started as to how they would interact like on the app in the end of the day. So profiles is a pretty cool way. I'm going to pass to Cedra to read up here. Word association.
Word association / first reactions. Send a picture, article, or anything. Ask everyone's first reaction. Great.
So again, this can be interpreted. This is meant for many, many different types of projects. If you're doing something about racial inequality, something about climate change, it could go with anything. You utilize it in the way that works for you, but it's a good way to get conversation started. Like in your group chats, people don't always know what to say, but if you give them an article and you say, all right, guys, find one thing in this article or whatever the first word that comes to mind with this picture is, let's see what they say.
Like, I have a art piece that I made. It's actually messy, but to me, I have a certain emotion like I get when I look at it. So it's like I can send that or show them that picture and actually give them time to think and tell me what they think this art is meaning.
That's brilliant. That's exactly right. Like that's exactly what you want to do. Let them all put in their reaction of how they feel about it. I hope you guys are writing this down for whatever works for you. Not all of these will work, obviously. And you might take a piece of this and transform it into something that is more relevant to your product. So I hope you're writing your ideas down here. You're going to want to keep the massive list. You may not use all of them at the end of the day. That's fine. Ahmed, will you read us the next one?
Yes, of course.
Thanks.
I can't see the hine though.
The tiny part, yeah.
No, I said I can't see the.
Oh, okay. This one is called the chillest icebreaker. It's something in the moment. Hugely important to get a test or like to get a taste of what this product would actually look like. It can be anything. Share the last text you sent. What's the last thing that you said to your friend? What's the last snack you ate? What's the last clothing item you bought? what's the last like argument you were in, whatever is relevant again to your product. You can do the last. Gives people like, they don't have to think too hard. They can actually like refer back, rack their brain and think of the last thing that they did. Naina, will you read us the one underneath it?
Like I would ask them the last time they actually drew a picture.
Okay. True. There's a lot of those that can like for art, for sure.
Or how it made them feel or when they did that last picture, and how many days like they did it, or if maybe says I last drew last week, I would actually ask them why they didn't do anything this week. Yeah.
Does anybody else want to share if any of these like are your, you know, you clear like definitely want to implement one of these? Does anybody else want to share? Feel free to unmute.
I feel like I definitely like to do the word association, like first reaction thing. I kind of tried like a similar thing in the early stages of prototyping, but I'd like to sort of try different images and also on different people from different backgrounds and stuff.
Perfect.
I think I really like the sentence starters, picture of their clothes, the street and stuff, like what they write or anything else. Yeah.
I thought about making profiles and also like giving competitions and questions like weekly or daily on the forum to keep them engaged and everything.
Oh, that's awesome. And especially like, again, you're manually doing a lot of this, but if you every 3 days, like update, like tally a bit of the competition, like who's done what, who's, you know, it really does engage people. And you can see, is this worth it? Is this worth it to build into my product? Do people actually care about like, whatever it is they're competing over? It's fun. So the next one on the list, anonymous pairings. Kim, will you read this one?
Yes. They send you the message privately and you pale people with those messages.
Yeah, this one's a little bit more like, and I don't recommend it on day one, but yeah, you can say, all right, guys, message me like privately. Then you keep all those messages. You might, you know, and you're asking something kind of powerful, and then you can either like, you can either send them out to people and say like, all right, you don't know who this is from, but like, what's your reaction? And then you can bring it up in the live session. So it's kind of a cool way to connect like things that happen before the live session. And then like in the live session, you bring it up again. People love that. They want to know that like they have a reason to come to the live session.
Like I could create an activity maybe on the app I'm creating for them to like I'll put questions for maybe 4-5 days, and the way they answer, that's the way I pair them together.
Yes.
If maybe I find a bit of a similar thing that he answered with, and I actually see that they have something in common, I actually pair them together.
I love that. And
I think
anything you guys come up with, like, will probably get added to this for future students to also utilize. But that's exactly what we talk about when we talk about customization and acknowledgement and community. It encompasses all of them. Like, how do we pair them up based on their, like, whatever their answer is? Great. Okay. And I'm going to move to the last one so we can get to the like live session so that you guys can really plan this out for yourselves. That's like, I'm going to look at each of yours thoroughly before you get your customers, your stakeholders. The last one is like a dare, like a habit change. And this is where they can bond a lot. Like you can ask like jokingly, you know, make it kind of fun, but like sharing about something where they screwed up in life, or the last time that they like missed an assignment, the last time that they like didn't tell their friend how they felt, anything again related to your business. It's a great way for them to bond, and it's a great way for you to help them like set goals basically as well, if they're like opening up about these exact moments.
Kelsey?
Yes.
How about if like what do you think if we reverse that idea? You know, like instead of asking them, this is specifically from my business, because I'm trying to do this whole course thing. But yes, it's a good idea to get them to talk about some play, something like that. But how about if I let myself tell them what I went through and have them give me their reactions of what they think they are? Amazing. I feel like because I feel like when I get into this whole course thing, I feel like they're gonna, like, my biggest issue is that I feel like they're gonna think that it's a class. And that's the last thing I want. I don't want them to feel like it's a class. Usually I'm also thinking of doing this in my university, as like a also trial test, but more live version, and be able to use my facial features and my hand gestures to get like things conveyed to them better. So I feel like I don't want people who are already taking classes to feel like this is just another class. So I want to switch the role of the whole teacher, the student thing, and like have myself tell them something, and then they give me feedback. I put them in my seat, although they might be inexperienced or like not really knowledgeable in what they want to say, but they will try and they will reenact the role of the teacher who's trying to help somebody out. And I feel like that will also be like some type of engagement.
It is. That's how they will learn, Ahmed. That's really cool. A, make yourself vulnerable. B, they're learning a lot by thinking of what kind of advice to give you and what they like, giving them the role as the teacher.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe the same advice that they give me, when I give them that same advice, but in a different situation, they'll be able to understand it on a deeper level because they already gave it to me. So they know why I chose it for them.
That's like the first rule of being like, let people try to answer it themselves first, and then like they are more attached to wanting to know more about it as they already attempted it themselves. So and they'll have things that you would have never thought of. That's like what's fun about this, you guys. Like, you get the chance to hear answers and things from people that like you did not know existed. Oops. Second. Okay, so the next part of this is about the the live session, okay? And I'm just gonna say right now that your live session should really, really, really be linked to everything else that you're doing in the group chat. It should not be. It should all really come together, and they could feel like a big learning out of it. Sorry, I just had to present it this way. And so there's a lot of different activities that can take place. Like, the standard stuff is obviously breakout rooms or things like Chatterfall that we do a lot here. Those should definitely happen. Obviously, you want them to speak and engage a lot. And all the activities should be linked to your business idea. So there's just a couple here. There's not as many, but can I get somebody to read the first one called Scenarios?
I can read it.
Thank you, Remo.
Is it?
Yeah.
Put them into different roles of your customer segments or other scenarios customers would face.
Yes. So you can even create all right, hey, this is the type of customer that we have. You are her. What do you do next? And see how they would react. Some of that goes with team mission. You can send them into a breakout room with 2 or 3 and give them a mission, hey, you guys are this type of customer. This is what you're facing. This is what you have to work with. It could be a mission in some way. And then they come back and share what they did next, basically. The third one you see here is called drawing or plotting. Arnav did this so well. He has a technology rental business, basically. And so what he did, kind of like the profiles, but he had all the stakeholders draw out, if they were to rent out 3 laptops for 5 years, what kind of revenue would they make? And he basically had them calculate this and draw out what would happen in 5 years. So utilize that however you want. What would happen in 5 years after my, you being a part of my company, what would happen next? What's the path looking like? Naina, I called on you and I'm sorry that we didn't get to hear from you. Would you read Anonymous Cards? If you can unmute. maybe you're not in a situation where you can. This is something that
her mic isn't working.
Her mic isn't working. Okay.
Yeah. She put it on the chat.
Oh yeah, I know the chat is not like, I cannot see the chat right now since I'm presenting.
I can read it for her.
Thank you.
Yeah. So they write something and send it to just you. They each receive one answer and must respond, or you read it out and they guess who it was.
Yeah. So this is Kiki is the winner of she's the founder of Girl Up, and she's the winner of the September cohort. She did this really well. Like, and I was actually with her. So, I mean, I might be in your session and I can help you with this kind of thing, but it was kind of powerful because FEWA did it as well. Remo remembers this. Everybody wrote it. We didn't know who said it. You received an anonymous like card and you like responded to it out loud in the session and gave like, you know, your advice or what would you do next? Really, really powerful. I like the idea that it's like, you don't know whose card you're receiving. Another way to do this though, is it's like actually a game called Things. You read out loud everybody's answer and then everybody else guesses like who it was. So I would like receive 5 answers. I read out one and everybody might guess, oh, it's Chandra, oh, it's Georgia. They would guess who it belongs to. So anonymous cards is pretty good. I've seen a lot of students do true and false also really well, like facts about their problem. And like, it's just a quick, like, you want a variety of things. That's a huge part of this. You want like one big media activity, like one of these. And then you also want like little things where they can like type answers, like maybe breakout rooms and they're sharing things out loud with each other. You want variety because it's an hour and you want them to like feel like it's a nice mixture of things. All of it ties together with everything else that you've done so far in their 10 days. So these are just other activities that like you've seen before within yourself, like the Chatterfall. Sometimes there's quizzes, Kahoots, speed rooms, polls. Sometimes they might be on a Google Doc. Getting people to race is always quite exciting. So, and again, fun activities make it really great. Make sure that they're linked to your outcomes. The activity will be the most powerful if it's actually linked to the outcomes, if it's actually linked to everything else that they've done on this 10-day journey. There is some kind of thorough planning here. You guys can obviously write it by hand, like what you've started. I want to see a picture of this from everybody. I also do want to see like a 10-day plan, basically. However you, like, I'm not going to be super strict about the format. Sometimes I used to be, but like it can be very simple like this, like draw out your 10 days, what's going to happen on each, you know, each of those 10 days in terms of like the group chat or the live session. What are you going to ask? How is it linked from day 1 to day 5? How is it all meshed together? This is just Wasima. She's a boss. She had like one of the most thorough Excels ever about when she, this is actually 2 of my friends came to the session. It was about like how to quit smoking. And so she had done like one-on-one consultations with each of these, like each of her members. She did like a one-on-one call with them first to get them comfortable and had like a ton of thorough questions that she asked them, wove that into the live session that she did with them here. It was really, really good. She's a 2nd place winner. This is the last thing I'm going to go over is these are the don'ts. Don't ask randomness. Everything you ask should have a meaning to it and be tied to your business and be tied to the end result. I've said that too many times today and I apologize, but I really, really want to make sure that you lay out your 10 days smoothly like today and it's not random. And don't ask too much of them. If they don't answer like for a couple of days, like you cannot, like, don't be mad about it. Like you are the, you know, you're in charge of making sure that they're like, they want to be there. So those are the only don'ts that I have. Oh, during the live session also, like make sure that they talk and they interact a lot. Do link the activities to a bigger theme about your business and build off of their answers. Like give yourself space, like whatever they answer on this 1st or 2nd day, tie that in to the later days, build off of what they're saying. You feel free to like change things around based on what they are answering. And of course, let them open up. They will not, they will care about this if they feel like they make a self-realization, if they learn something about themselves, if they like bond with others. That is the ultimate way to get them to keep like, they feel good. They want to come back. That's all, honestly, in terms of like, you guys are now going to send the group, but like I will be like pretty thorough about making sure everybody has this and your 10-day plan. You can write it by hand, you can type it, but I really, really need to see your 10-day plan before we hand you your stakeholders, before you get to meet them. But send me that. The last thing is like, this is kind of separate, but you're going to want to ask them big decisions. So write down what are some things that you would want to consult with them on, make them feel important. Maybe you're still deciding the color scheme. Maybe you're still deciding like how the features will be. Ask them whatever you want. And, you know, keep them like in the loop. They want to feel like an insider, share progress with them.
Can we like get a example 10-day plan or something?
Yeah, I'll send this presentation. I'm going to send over some really, really detailed examples of 10-day plans that students have made in the past. And you guys can like utilize those to make your own. But I'm not going to be super strict about the format because I know that everybody has a very different project in mind. So just send me a picture, send the group whatever you wrote just now and your 10-day plan. And once they get approval by myself and Rituja, like you will receive your stakeholders. Great, you guys. I'm so sorry that there was so much of like me talking and telling you guys ideas. I'm going to send this PowerPoint to you right now. But before we leave, a couple people could share out anything that they're really excited to try.
Could you repeat what we should include in the 10-day plan?
Yeah, in the 10-day plan, it's kind of like when you're going to do the first activity, when will the live session be, and how will the opening activities link to the later days? Is there going to be some kind of competition? How do you get them to come back? How do you get them to set goals and learn about themselves? It's really your method of laying out how all the 10 days like build upon each other.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Do we have like a deadline or something?
That's a good question. I'm going to basically be like checking this stuff thoroughly over the next like 48 hours. So I would say you want to start, like you want to get your stakeholders by Monday. So I would turn in your stuff today and I will look at it like within tomorrow and then be able to get you your stakeholders right when we approve it. So deadline is Monday. We'll just go with that because you guys then only have about 12 days to try all this stuff out on them.
Okay.
Kelsey, I have a question. For the one that we're doing, my Wi-Fi was off. What do we? Because I just had notes from the first 20 minutes I was in.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm gonna send this recording out right now. And I mean, I can also send out the PowerPoints. You can see. You heard the beginning and you heard the end, is what you said.
Yep.
Okay. Let me send. We made it in the middle. We made outcomes of like what we want these stakeholders to accomplish. Like what will they learn about themselves? How will they bond? That kind of thing. Does anybody want to answer what they had written for outcomes? So to give Remo like an idea.
Sure.
It's not.
So outcomes for customers, I wrote like the outcomes my artist customers will receive is opportunities. I just want to make sure they kind of receive another level opportunity. That's what the outcome I want for them. And then the customer buyers, the dual benefits they're gonna have is buying a beautiful art piece plus the donations that they are gonna be providing by purchasing the art piece. That's the main basic outcome that I want my customers to have. Others, there's so much in there, but I have to work on that a bit after creating some stuff. And for stakeholders, the first question was like, what would they learn about themselves? So I want them to learn that if they will to help, they can. They can create ways in order to provide somebody or someone. And then how would they connect with each other, the stakeholders, through the opinions about ways to help. Let's connect with the first question. And also including art bonds, of course. Yeah.
No, that's
Thank
brilliant.
You, Samara.
Yeah, thank you so much, Samara. Like letting them know that they can go out and do things. Like that might be something you ask early in the early days. What do you think, what is it that they want to go out and do? And then you kind of make them a plan to help them go out and do that.
Exactly.
I'm not kidding you guys. The things that they will answer to your questions are just like, you would never have thought of them. And that's why you do this. That's why you must try this out on students, on people.
Kelsey, I have a question.
Yes.
For the live sessions, can we use Kahoot for some of them?
Yeah. Yes, you can.
Okay.
You guys can use anything. Like these were just activities that like I wanted to get you guys like the ball rolling, but like you can literally do anything as long as you're engaging them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And tell us as the ideas come to you, like Kahoot is a great way. Tell us as you are planning what you're up to, and then other people can like build off of it.
Cause like for Kahoot, there's like this one game that we played before at school. The topic was very interesting.
Yeah.
So as I was looking at the list, there's some topics which could actually link to what my business is trying to help. So I just wanna maybe use one of those topics and make the Kahoot game. It's already a competition, but a competition which incorporates the business. That's just an idea at the top of my head.
Yeah. I love that. I love whatever the battle is in real life, making that happen like in your stakeholder session. That's amazing. Give them roles. I would, Remo. Like I would give them give them even like a note card that has a persona of who they are and who other people in the session are, and then they like battle it out or find out about each other. There's a lot you can do.
I'll do that. Thank you.
I'm excited to see the plan, and I will like have, you go with what you want, but I mean, I'll always have too much to say probably, but like send me what the plan is and we can like finalize it together. You guys are going to rock it. Like, I swear to God, this group gives so much good feedback to each other. So keep each other in the loop, but there's some wild confidence here, and I can sense that you guys are going to give the stakeholders like such a good journey. Such a good journey. It comes with planning it out. It comes with planning it out and learning when to incorporate everything about them, relate constantly to the outcomes that you want them to achieve. Like, what is it you want them to learn about themselves? Lay out your 10 days right now, everybody, and send the pictures into either to me privately or to the December, basically anywhere where I can have access to it, because once I approve, we'll get you your stakeholders.
Can I see an example of the sheet? What would it look like? The outcome sheet?
Yeah. The outcome sheet. The outcome sheet like this one, or the 10-day plan?
I think both.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to send out a lot right now. I'll send out this PowerPoint. I'll send out some like really, really fire examples of like student stakeholder plans from the past.
So is this like our last Saturday meeting?
Sort of. It's like we have next week, everybody's going to be like, at that point, you're going to be practicing your pitch. So for the pitch pump up session, we always bring in like alumni, often like SOF winners. They come in and they give advice, and we do like some activities to like develop your speech better. So in a way, yeah, next week is also a session, but it doesn't feel like, it's always like, I don't know, it's so close to the expo. Yeah. And then in 2 weeks, we have like a very, very long session called Demo Day, where we like bond as a group and do kind of a dress rehearsal for the expo.
Okay. So like, if I'm right, we should be done with everything on the app, right? On the website, like all the sessions.
On the platform.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. You guys should be getting into stage 12, which is like pitch practice. Please, please, please have your pitch developed before like next Saturday. Like, start now. Like, my advice with the pitch is literally look back at your old notes and everything that you ever wanted to accomplish and bomb it out like a pitch, like right away. Like, say everything that you want to say, and then we will kind of rearrange it in the order that engages the audience the most. But just cover everything. Like, you can literally send me a 15-minute voice note. I don't mind. Like, everything that you think you want to say in your pitch, say it all at once, and we can decide how to order it, decide how to put it into like a very, very nice speech, basically. But stage 12 really helps you think about what goes in the pitch. So if you do stage 12, you will really know what goes in your pitch. You can like already start doing drafts of your pitch as soon as you want.
Thank you.
Yay. I know this is like, we have a lot of great things ahead. So I will get started on this right now, you guys. This session went very over, so I apologize. And I hope you guys have a lot of ideas. I'm excited to like individually see them.
No problem.
I'm going to close right now, but like I said, just send it to me individually or into the group, and so you can get feedback on it.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, you all.
Bye.